afternoon and welcome to my Facebook Almost Live. My name is Jenny McCormack from Gemini Crafts and I have a project to share with you this afternoon. This has been pre-recorded yesterday so that because I'm not around by the computer to do a live video this afternoon, so I hope that's acceptable. This was the card that we created on Monday, or I created on Monday, using the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set. And in this sample I've used Seaside Spray and Misty Moonlight for the blue. This is Misty Moonlight stamped off, and then I've used Pear Pizzazz and So Saffron for the other components. Inside I've stamped the small little flowers and I've added those also to the envelope. So I'm going to do something similar today, but I'm actually going to make this into 2 cards. So it's almost like doing a half sheet wonder, stamped half sheet, but not quite as detailed. So I hope this is going to work. Let's give it a go. So this is obviously recorded, so you can comment, but I won't be able to respond directly in the video, but I will be able to respond later on. So I'm taking a piece of Whisper White card, I'm placing it on my Stamparatus, and the reason I'm using this is because it's a large stamp and I'm not very good holding really large blocks. I find it a lot easier with the Stamparatus. So I'm just using the line that I had previously, popping some magnets down and seeing where this will end up. Okay, that is fine. I might move this up a little bit. Like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp the main image, but I'm going to add more smaller flowers around the edge and then chop the whole thing in 2 to create 2 cards. The colours I've chosen for this one are the purples. So I've got Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. I'm going to use So Saffron for the surface, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for the leaves. I haven't quite decided what sentiments I'm going to use, but let's give this a go. So let me find, first of all, Highland Heather. That's going to be my lighter colour. I'm just going to ink this up. And one thing I did say yesterday was if you've got a very new ink pad or you've re-inked it, then you don't want it too inky for these large photopolymer stamps, because they don't absorb the ink on the surface and it goes all bubbly. So if that happens to you, all I did yesterday was scrape the ink towards the edge of the ink pad and then use the centre part of that. So I am going to add some detail in the centre, and I have a sponge dauber here which I'm hoping is purple, which it is. So I'm going to take the Gorgeous Grape, and I appreciate this is a little bit off to the side, so you're not going to see. If I lift this up, that might be better. So I'm going to add some Gorgeous Grape in the centre of these flowers. There's lots of different colour combinations you can use for these. There's plenty of inspiration on Pinterest and Google. Like so. Move that one out of the way because I know that's blue. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this down here, and you can see the colour in the centre. I'm going to give this a good amount of pressure. Now I have got the magnets in there, but they should be clear of the area. Sometimes they lift the plate up a little bit because I've wrapped them with duct tape. so they are a bit thicker than they would normally be. But let's see what that looks like. There we go. Alright, so there's a little bit here, and I can see it's still on the stamp, so just going to press that bit down. There we go. Oh, there's still a little bit missing, isn't there? So what I'm going to do is just make sure it's Highland Heather, work out which flower it is that I need to ink up, and just ink up that little section. Hopefully that will be enough. There we go. Okay, so that's all I need for the outline, and I'm just going to clear my stamp off. And I can't see my cleaning pan, which I've put somewhere. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some flowers now around the edge and some leaves. So I'm going to use the Highland Heather ink, like so. Now I do have to bear in mind that I've got some indentations on this surface, so I am going to use my mat underneath. So what I want to do is basically extend this either side of the central line, like so. Okay, I'm going to add some leaves, and I've used the middle size leaf, so there are 3 leaves in the set, and I'm going to use the middle and possibly the small one as well. So this is Pear Pizzazz, like so. And if you're double stamping, so you've got first generation and then a second generation, just make sure that your first generation has stamped in full. If, for example, I stamp it off the edge here, then the next one, if you can see that, has the ink left on. So if you then did this at an angle, you'd see the ridge. Let me just stamp that off on here. So, and I've got a little bit of ink on the edge. So we're going to cover that up. By adding a leaf here. So just basically building the scene to watch that edge of that. You just see it's on the edge. You wipe that down. Okay, let's add some dots in the centre and then some extra little flowers. So I'm just basically building it up from the starting image. So this is like a central section. It's going in there. It's going in each of my smaller flowers. So, and then going to use this with the dot, this one here, for the centres of these flowers, and I'm just turning it so it sort of fits in the centre. So they're quite uneven centres, but that's perfect. Just to pop that over like so. Have I missed anything? No. Now I'm going to add some more of the little leaves to go next to these. So basically you can just keep building on this until you've got it as you want it. So this is the little leaf. Oops, it's not that very well. So, in that corner. It's a bit heavy-handed today. Some glue on the edge there. Take that out. Okay, I think I'm going to put a little bit of greenery in here. So, and then add some of those little flowers. So this is one of the little flowers. There are a couple. Just going to add this one, and I'm going to use gorgeous grape for this, which I may or may not stamp off. Let's have a look. Let's see. I might have it as detailed. Like that. Such a pretty little, well, not little at all. That's the nice thing about this stamp, is if you want to make a quick card like I did here, although I added in some detail, it would be quite quick just to literally stamp it, stamp the leaves, and off you go. Let's put one more up in here, like so. Okay, now my plan is to cut that like so and so to make 2 cards. I might add a little bit of detail, although I do like to keep it mainly as that. Let me see what I could add with just a small amount of detail. I don't really want to detract from it. Now, if anybody can tell me what stamp I used the other day that had a grey design on it. I'm just wondering whether to pop a little butterfly on. No, I'm not going to, because I want the flowers to be the main thing. So what did I use? Had a lovely little leaf. No, it wasn't my meadow. Oh, how crazy is that? Right. Okay, I can't find it. So I am going to use these dots from Forever Fern, I think, just as my finishing point, because I want to keep that as the main focus. So sorry to keep you all in suspense. So I'm going to use a Highland Heather for my dots. Just going to see if I need to stamp them off. Nope, that's fine because it's quite pale. So I'm just adding those in, like so. Right, okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh, let's pop some in that centre panel. There we go. Okay, let's clear away the ink pads for the moment, or at least close them. There we go. So this is my panel that I'm now going to cut into two to make two cards. So I've got my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. So to see, yeah, I want to cut this really at its centre point, which would be 10.5, which I think works perfectly. Obviously you could vary it slightly, so if you wanted those flowers, for example, so I'll do that like so. So now I've got this layer here. So it's the right width, and I want this to be 9.5. Taking a little bit of that off. So we have that one. So this could go in portrait, can go in landscape at the bottom, could go in landscape at the top. And this one I think I'm just going to cut straight at 9.5 because obviously it's got more area ready. Okay. And for my layers, I've chosen Gorgeous Grape for my base card, Purple Posy for the layer on top, and then my plan is for these to go on top of that. Now it might actually have been better, I need to trim this one down, the other way around. So Purple Posy at the bottom, like that. Let me just turn this one round, because that will make this design pop out. So yes, it definitely makes a difference, doesn't it? So I'm just going to grab a piece of Purple Posy and make two cards out of that. Grab that. There we go. I'm just going to score this down the centre at 10.5 centimetres along the short edge. Move the blade out of the way so that I'm just scoring it, as you can see there, and then turning it round to 14.85, which is the halfway marker. So then those should be exactly the same. Oh, and I will cut this one down. So to cut this to 10. by 14.35. So half a centimetre different. If it's easier and you don't want to measure it, it's got a little thing on there. Let me just see and get rid of that very edge. So 10 centimetres. And if I want to bring this down by half a centimetre, I can just use this on the right hand side, measure it to half a centimetre mark, rather than trying to work out 14.35. There we go. So let's have a look and see. So that's going to be one card. Perfect. Let's take this out of the way and reverse those. Oops. 2, 3. Okay, now notice I've got a little mark on here which I think is glue. So I'm just going to remove that, and if I can't remove it, I will put a label over there. So I do have an adhesive remover. This is rather well worn, as you can see. Yeah, it's a little bit of glue. Okay, there is actually a tiny mark on there as well. Okay, so I have the choice of which way round this is going to go entirely. So what I'm going to do is stick this down to start with. Like so. And then decide which way I want it on my card. So I have this one here. Yeah, which I like that. I will add the sentiment on. There we go. I can see a box arriving for me. Morning. Afternoon, sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will. That's my UPS man with some customer orders. So this one I could have on the left with the sentiment here, or I could have it at the top with the sentiment, or the bottom. I think I quite like that one actually at the top. There we go. So all I need to do now is add 2 sentiments. So from the set I've got happy birthday thinking of you, thank you, I like you a lot, get well soon, sure do miss you, and hello. I think I'm going to, I've lost the thank you, so I'm actually going to pick a different thank you because I need some more thank you cards. So I'm just going to grab a larger thank you. ornate thanks. So I've got this lovely thank you here and thanks. Now what you could easily do with this one, if you didn't have enough space, is you could cut here the bit of stamping surgery and have two separate words, thank you, that you could possibly do a little bit more with, because it does need quite a bit of space to stamp this. But I'm going to go with that in Gorgeous Grape for both of them. I am going to practice on here. I'll put my little flowers on there. Let's have a look and see. So just watching out for this ridge on my tile. And I'll see whether I need the mat underneath. I don't think I do. Happy with that, especially as I've got a cushion of 4 layers of card. So let's ink this up like so, and I'm going to centralise this one like so. There we go. And this one I think I'm going to put on the right hand side because it sort of comes down. It just seems to warrant doing that further over. And just to make it different as well. So most of these thank you cards will go to my customers and my team. So if you've ordered from me recently, there's a reasonable chance you'll get one of these cards. And I think because I like this design, I might do a whole stack of them as well, in different colours. There we go. So 2 thank you cards from 1 image. I have added to the image, so this was the starting point, just the single one, and then I brought it out with these other cute little flowers. So there we go. I hope you like the cards from today. Sorry not to be with you in person, but hopefully it will give you a flavour of something else that stamp set will do. And I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, live at 10 AM, and I'll be using the matching dies for this stamp set. So thanks so much for joining me. Look after yourselves and each other. Please take care. I hope you can keep crafting. Thank you. Bye bye.